This is Dr. Carroll, and this is another video in the Python list series. And this one is about multi-dimensional lists. And so a list can store any data type. And a string, an int, a float, a boolean, a list, a dictionary, a tuple, anything. And so this is going to focus on it storing lists, one or more lists. So let's go with an example of, say, fruits: mango, banana, spondius mobin, kiwi, and then another list: veggies, green beans, broccoli, and spinach. And so we can take those two lists and add the fruits as the first element into a shopping list, and veggies as the second element. And so if we display this, it's going to display a list, so it starts with the square brackets, and the first element is a list as indicated by the square brackets there. So shopping list is a two-dimensional list, or just a 2D list is sometimes it's written as. So now to display my favorite fruit, we would need to use shopping list index 0, and then from there index 2. And so shopping list index 0 is a list. So before we would have done fruits index 2 to get spondius mobin. But now we need to specify that list, because a list, two-dimensional list, is a list of lists. And so we first get the correct list and then index into that. And so we could have written this a little differently if we had put the variables fruit index and veggie index to say, hey, the fruits is at index 0 and veggies is index 1. Then we could have said, hey, go to the first index, or go to the fruit index, and then pull out the second element from there. And that's also going to display spondius mobin. So let's say there's a recall on kiwis and a sale on blueberries. So if we wanted to change kiwis here, we need to go to the fruit index and then the third element to be able to assign that to blueberries. And if we displayed that, sure enough, notice kiwi is now changed out for blueberries. Okay. And now let's say there's a sale on strawberries, so we need to add it, but we want to add it to this first element, which is a list, so we need to get at that first element. Well, there's the first element, and then how do we add something onto the end of a list? We do dot append. So notice the left-hand part before the period gets resolved, and it's a list, and then we append onto that. And we can display it, and sure enough, mango, banana, spondius mobin, blueberries, strawberries ends that first element, and then onto our veggies. So now we're ready to print our list. So let's go through each item in the shopping list and display it. And that doesn't look very professional. If we're going to be charging a lot of money to be writing these scripts, we need to have them look professional, because it just said, okay, here's my first element, the second element. Ooh, that's not going to work. So let's see. What should we do? Let's see. We could just print each food item that's on. How can we do that with printing each food item on its own line without the ticks and the brackets? In the other videos in this series, we've been able to do this by putting a list in as the iterable for a for loop. So it would be like for element in shopping list fruit index, print out element, and that's going to display the fruits. Okay, so good. We got rid of the ticks and the square brackets, but we only included one. What data type is shopping list first index? So its data type is a list, and that's why it worked. It said go through this list, which is the first element, and display out every element in there. So shopping list fruit index is a list. So what if we just had row reference that list? Then we could say item in row, print out an item, and it's going to do the exact same thing. But how do we include veggies as well? Well, we need row to be the fruits, and then we need row to be the veggies. So if we said, hey, for each row in our shopping list. Then for each item in that row, notice it's a nested for loop, display the item. And then we get everything. We get our fruits and our veggies. We're ready to go. Because what is the data type here of row? It is, in this case, it is a list. Shopping list is a list of lists. Row is a list of strings. Item is a string. There you go. That concludes the list series. I hope you enjoyed it.